a year ago or so on the channel, we reviewed a game called Gear Club Unlimited for the Nintendo Switch. Now let's be honest, the Nintendo Switch does not have all that many racing games, especially realistic style racing games. So Gear Club Unlimited sort of filled a slot. Now this game did have mobile roots. It was originally a mobile game that was ported over to the Nintendo Switch, but for what it wasn't a terrible game. There was definitely some problems with it, and when it was announced that Gear Club Unlimited 2 was being developed just for the Nintendo Switch, I honestly got pretty excited for it because I thought Gear Club Unlimited did a decent job of bringing a realistic style racing game to the Switch. And I felt like with Gear Club Unlimited 2 being focused fully on the Nintendo Switch with no mobile port, it would make for a better experience. And so the team over at Gear Club Unlimited actually sent over a review copy for Gear Club Unlimited 2, and I decided to check it out because honestly, I like realistic racing games. Games like Gran Turismo, games like Forza. These games are so much fun to me because I enjoy cars. So I've been spending some time with Gear Club Unlimited 2, and I definitely have some things to say about it. So is Gear Club Unlimited 2 worth picking up? Is this the racing game that Nintendo Switch owners have been looking for when it comes to something more realistic? Sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's jump into the world of Gear Club Unlimited 2 for the Nintendo Switch.
Hey, RGT 85. Hey, Sean.
Oh my god, it's Stevie Richards! So the meat of Gear Club Unlimited 2 is the career mode, which has you racing through several types of races to unlock more events. There's a story element that's interjected into it, but it really feels completely unnecessary, with lines of written dialogue that I honestly just did not care about. Each event has you choosing from a car in your garage with the specs needed in order to enter the challenge. Once inside of an event, there's a series of races that you must place as high as you can in order to get the biggest prize purse, and of course try to win the event. The races range from things like a traditional race, time trial, off-road, or knockout races, which has the person in last place getting removed until there is only one car left. The races themselves are much longer than in the first game, which was a main complaint that a lot of people had with the initial title of the series because things just ended up going too fast. On the flip side, however, there's load times in between the races and they're much longer this time around. It's pretty noticeable, and honestly it's rather annoying when you're just trying to get to the next race. Some of them can take up to 30 to 45 seconds, even maybe a minute sometimes, and I definitely notice these long load times. The main campaign also offers side races as exhibition races, where you can earn additional money if your car is a bit lacking in order to improve upon it. There's also a bunch of different car dealerships you can go to and look at specific ranking of cars to check them out, pop the hood, look inside, or take them out for a spin to see if they meet your racing needs and what kind of racer you are on the track. A big improvement over the first title in this series though is that there are many more cars to choose from. In the first game there was about 30 plus. In this game there are 51. Now there was DLC for the first game that added more cars in, so they might do DLC for this game as well to sort of beef up the car roster. You have a lot of high-end cars like Bugattis and McLarens, all of which have their own unique engine sounds, handling, and feel. Speaking of handling, the main thing I noticed that was improved upon the first game was the actual racing in the game. When you're racing in the game, it feels much more responsive than in the first title. Cars handle much better this time around, and the variety of terrains actually play a role in how the cars handle them. You slip and slide on snowy areas, rocky areas make you feel like you might spin out on any given point of time, and so forth. If you wreck, you have the ability to rewind time up to a certain point, so that could be good in assisting you. The game offers different options when driving, such as braking, anti-skid, and steer assistance. Using these will sort of let the computer control your car a bit, but I did find the braking assist to be a bit overbearing even when it was low, because it would slow down your car based on the driving line in the game even if you were using the accelerator. And honestly, that could be a bit jarring in my opinion. When you're expecting to go faster and your car just isn't going faster, you're like, is there some input lag here? But no, it was simply just the braking assist. A brand new addition to the game is the club feature, which allows you to create an online club, have people join, and do online tasks for a leaderboard system. You'll race against different ghost cars from various clubs, and beating them will make your club rank go higher. You can invite friends to join your club, you can have random people join as well. It's a nice feature that I feel like could actually add some longevity to the game's single player, and should be a staple of the franchise moving forward. You can also customize your vehicles. You have a performance shop that you can decorate and improve upon the vehicles that allows you to change things like the vehicle's color, improve the engine and suspension, make it better for rally events, and so forth. You can upgrade the bays as well to unlock more improvements, add pieces to your garage, and even make it better and customize your fleet of cars that you purchase. As you start to play the game for a few hours though, you start to get a bit bored and confused by a lot of things, honestly. The main thing is, while the racing itself feels much improved, the game itself is sort of stuck in an identity crisis as to whether or not it wants to be an arcade racer or a sim racer. Things like upgrading your cars with various parts would make you think that it's going to be a sim, but the fact that it's just a simple level upgrade and you can't tinker with things kind of makes it feel more arcadey. The racing itself, like I said, is much improved, but things like crashes don't really matter because of the rewind feature and the fact that your car doesn't get damaged whatsoever. There's no visible damage, there's no drivetrain damage, so crashing into a car or a barrier just sort of slows you down a bit, which sort of feels like an arcade racer. Another thing that can be confusing is the difference between a time trial and an actual race. In a race, the cars are there with you on the track, but a time trial, you are just racing against a ghost of the cars that you can see. Sometimes in the middle of the race, I honestly forgot whether or not I was doing a time trial or a race, and I ended up hitting a car because of it. Graphically speaking, the game does look somewhat better than its predecessor. The cars themselves all look very nice, and you can add custom paint jobs, rims, and stickers to them as well. The game seems to run pretty smooth as well, and I didn't really notice as much slowdown as in the first game when there were a lot of cars in a confined area at once. There's some pop-up here and there and some strange lighting in the environments, but it's smooth enough, especially at higher speeds, to be enjoyable. The environments are much more varied than in the first game, which is a good thing, but at the same time they feel a bit lifeless. They're completely stagnant, and while it's nice to see buildings and trees, nothing in the background moves. It just feels weird. There's no cloud movement or water movement, nothing. Just very barren. I would have liked to have something, anything to let me know I was zipping around a track and it was a real world. Hell, Gran Turismo on the PS2 had things going on in the backgrounds just to feel more alive. Another thing that bothered me was the lack of effects for different terrains. There's no snow flying at you from other cars or from the weather. There's no dirt clouds to deal with. It all just feels very lifeless no matter what sort of race you're doing. The audio in the game is a bit of a mixed bag as well. Some vehicles sound pretty spot on, some sound really strange. There's no in-game music whatsoever, just in the menus, which is weird as hell. All you get is the roar of the engine, which is fine, but I would have liked to at least have the option to hear a few music tracks while racing around. The game features local and online multiplayer, but the online multiplayer isn't quite ready yet, so you can't check it out. I'll probably check it out at a later date though, because I do prefer my racing games to have online races, as it's always fun to play with other people. So for right now, you really only have the club feature in terms of multiplayer that features an online thing. All in all though, Gear Club Unlimited 2 is an interesting game that has a lot of confusing elements that really just make it sort of mediocre. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's good. It's just sort of middle of the road. You would think that with the team developing this game exclusively for the Nintendo Switch, that they would have used the Nintendo Switch to its full capabilities. But really, it just sort of feels like a rehash of Gear Club Unlimited 1 with some slight improvements. They really should have built this game from the ground up, or at least improved upon the things that were good in the first game, because honestly, there are some good things in Gear Club Unlimited 2. Like I said, I think the actual racing feels much better this time around, so it feels like they did try to improve upon that. They also try to improve upon the graphics, but in doing such, they didn't really do anything to the backgrounds to make them feel more lively. The mistaken identity situation in this game is really just sort of the nail in the coffin for me though. It can't really decide whether it wants to be an arcadey style game or a simulation, so it kind of straddles the middle. And while that might work for some people, I prefer to know what sort of game I'm playing going into it. If it's going to be an arcade game, be an arcade game. If it's going to be a racing sim, be a racing sim. Just a bunch of small things to sort of add up with this game, and I don't know. It's really strange though, because if you purchase the game physically, it's only $50, but if you buy the game digitally, it's $60. Isn't that backwards or something like that? I don't know, but Gear Club Unlimited 2 isn't necessarily a bad game. It's just a game with problems. If you're a fan of simulation racing games, you'll probably have some fun here, but don't dive into this game thinking that it's going to be something as in-depth as Forza or something as in-depth as Gran Turismo, because I honestly feel like you'll be a bit disappointed. I think the groundwork here is really good for what Gear Club Unlimited 3 could potentially be, but I think the development team needs to take a little bit more time with it. Add some more flair to the game, add some more polish. If you want to be a full-fledged release, you need to go up against other full-fledged release games. There's some upcoming racers coming to the Nintendo Switch in 2019, and if Gear Club Unlimited 3 doesn't build upon this game and improve upon it, I feel like it will end up being left behind. But those are my thoughts on Gear Club Unlimited 2. Not good, not bad, just sort of the middle of the road. Let me know in the comments section down below what you think of Gear Club Unlimited 2, what you think of the footage that I've shown, and if you plan on picking this game up, or if you plan on waiting for a sale for this game. And as always, thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. I'm reviewing all sorts of games on here, doing all sorts of news videos, and as always, I will catch you guys on the next video. Later.
RGT 85! RGT 85! RGT 85.